One of the world's greatest players has pledged his future to Manchester United for another 5 years. Cristiano Ronaldo has extended his contract until 2012, which is great news for everyone connected with Manchester United. Hello there and welcome to Live from Old Trafford. It's FA Cup semi-final weekend, but we've been boosted by the news that Cristiano Ronaldo has put pen to paper and extended his contract until 2012. With me in the studio for the next half an hour, I'm delighted to welcome Mickey Thomas. Mickey, wonderful news. Yeah,
it's normally Friday the 13th is lucky in it, but it's lucky for every Manchester United fan and the players as well. I think, you know, a great signing that is.
Playing so well this season, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, but all the rumours in the papers, I'm sure people were slightly worried about whether he was going to go somewhere else. Great news to see him signing here again.
I think they're used to the headlines outside, of course they are, but it was a little bit strong speculation, wasn't it? That he could be going to Real Madrid, 54 million reportedly. They're going to be paying for him, but now it ends everything. And I think, you know, he had a contract to 2010. I think his performance this season, I think, typifies what he's about. You know, he's a happy man. You can tell it the way he's been playing. And I think, you know, this is the best week we've had. You know, we just got into the Champions League semi-final after a fantastic performance, the best performance I've ever seen. And to get this today is great news for the club.
How special a player is he, Mickey?
He's the best. I mean, you know, I think what he's done, I think he's put him up there with the greats of Pelé, Maradona, you know, just everything about him, not just his ability to create goals, but to score spectacular goals as well. He's got everything in his locker. He's a young lad, maturing all the time. He's getting better and better with each game. This season, he looks a lot more stronger. And we've got a player here that I think is the best in the world. I don't think anyone would argue that.
A number of goals he's scored this season have been phenomenal from a wide position. I suppose you expect that amount of goals maybe from a striker, but from midfield and from the position he plays in, it's been particularly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when you say about great players, I mean, they're noted for scoring great goals, aren't they? But he's just a creator as well. But his pace, he's frightening. I've never seen anyone with the pace that he's got. He had a lot of stick in the summer, of course, and he came back instant with Wayne Rooney. You know, there's sort of one or two problems, but it wasn't any problem. You know, and them two together have been fantastic this season, but the whole team as well. But now to have him, I'm really delighted.
Great news, of course. Let's get a bit more reaction now. David May is on the line. Hi there, David.
How you doing, mate?
Hi there, not too bad, David. Great news today for the club.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, it's, I'm sure it's what everybody's been waiting for. You know, there's been loads of speculation in the paper about Real Madrid and other teams. But it just goes to show, you know, where his loyalties last. You know, because, you know, to be given a 5-year contract is great news.
Mickey mentioned there he's a very happy man, always plays with a smile on his face. Really takes that onto the pitch, doesn't he?
It does, yeah, and, you know, I think the sign of confidence as well is when, you know, when you are laughing and joking on the pitch, because I think you produce your best football, and, you know, you've seen week in, week out, you know, he's either a match winner or a match, you know, saviour, because some of the stuff he does is breathtaking at times.
He really is a typical showman, really, in that sense, isn't he? He does so many amazing things with the ball, but they all seem to be coming off at the moment, and all the shots he takes, you know, the majority of them certainly flying into the net and really worrying the opposition.
I mean, it must be an absolute nightmare for defenders. I mean, it must be bad news going through the Premiership that Ronaldo's staying for another 5 years, because I'm sure there's plenty of left-backs and right-backs wishing that he'd actually left and gone to Real Madrid.
We're seeing some of the highlights of Ronaldo this season at the moment on the show here. And David, as a defender, how do you approach playing against somebody like this?
How do you approach him? You need a lot of luck, and you need a good referee that can stand by you making your first tackle, because that's the only way that you can really control it, is by giving him a dig. But, you know, people have tried that, and he's got up and he's gone straight back at him, and that shows what great character he's got, because, you know, you see many fantastic players, as soon as they kick, you know, they go down and they stay down, and really, you know, they peter out of the game. But, you know, Ronaldo's straight back up and he's straight at them.
And is the key to his season's form not just the tricks he does and the skill he has in his feet, but the fact that he does it all at such pace?
Well, I heard Mickey saying earlier, you know, about the actual pace he's got. It's great having pace. You know, you can be the quickest player in the world, but if you haven't got the skill and the tricks to go with it, then, you know, you just become a quick player. But to have all the skill he's got and all the trickery, it's, you know, it's a pleasure to watch him. Great
to talk to you as always, David. Thanks very much for joining us today. Cheers. Interesting to hear from David, also to hear from Sir Alex Ferguson, a quote here. He says it's fantastic news. It emphasises the point that Cristiano is happy here and that he is at the right club. He's had a great relationship with the team, staff and the fans, and he will go on to be one of Manchester United's great players. You mentioned exactly the same, that talking in the talking about him in the same sense as Bobby Charlton, players like that. Do you think he really is that good?
I think so. I think this season typifies what he's about. You know, he's so consistent. You know, I think he's getting better. You know, he looks stronger, physically stronger, and I think he's adapted to the Premiership. You know, one or two things said against him early in his career here, but you know, to say that he's one of the great players, and we've had some fantastic ones over the years. Ryan, especially Paul Scholes, you know, they just come off the tip of the tongue. But this guy could be number one, the best ever at this club. He's got that potential. I don't say that lightly because we've had some great players here, as I said before. But, you know, his ability from free kicks, his power in his shots, phenomenal, incredible.
And we see there, it's not just always the power, is it? It's the fact that the ball seems to do very strange things when he hits it. How does he get that skill? How does he get that sort of movement on the ball?
I think he comes across it before, just as he hits it, to put a bit more swerve on it. But he's got great technique. He can do anything with a ball. And I think, you know, he likes the Old Trafford fan. And I think now more than ever, I think he's getting response from the away fans as well. I think they appreciate what a player he is. You know, I do a football film, and lots of Liverpool fans, etc., are all now applauding this guy as one of the best in the world. And I think what David May quite rightly said there, it will be a lot of disappointment around the Premiership that he's actually going to be staying at Manchester United. We just look forward now to who the press are going to say who's leaving United next. It's not Ronaldo anymore, it'll be someone else next week, won't it? Wait and see.
I suppose the key talking point in the summer was, of course, the World Cup. And that obviously seems to have made him a much stronger player, much more mature player.
Well, I think a lot of that was distracted because England's performance was poor. I think they wanted to blame someone, so they went and blamed Ronaldo. There's nothing really to do with Ronaldo. He was playing for Portugal, you know, another team. He had to do the best for his team. I don't condone for whatever he did. He's a professional footballer trying to win a football match. Unfortunately, it was against England. But I think he's come back a mature and better person for it.
And I suppose as well, the fact that, as you mentioned, supporters, away fans at Old Trafford, and also when he goes to away grounds, home supporters give him a lot of stick. There's always a lot of booing. But that seems to have quietened down because he's just playing so well. It seems to urge him on almost.
I think it's subsiding now. I think it's subsiding greatly because I think, you know, I listen to a lot of people. And I think one thing what Ronaldo's gained is respecting the game from opposing players, and that, you know, they're talking about them highly, don't we? And I think that sends a lot of things about a professional footballer. If you're getting credit and, you know, respect off your fellow professionals, it doesn't come much higher than that. And I think he's going to win everything this year. I think, you know, Drogba, of course, will be close, but I think Ronaldo will win it. I think with his ability and his excitement, he's a one-off, and we've got him.
Well, let's hope he does win everything this year on an individual level and also on a team level, of course, as well. Time for a short break, but coming up, more reaction to the news that one of the world's greatest players has pledged his future to this great club until 2012. Let's now speak to United former striker Frank Stapleton, getting more reaction on the news that Cristiano Ronaldo has extended his contract here until 2012. Good evening, or good afternoon rather, Frank.
Hi, David.
Hi there. What's your reaction to the news today?
I think it's great news for everybody. I think it's a situation that's been hanging over not so much the player but the club, obviously the supporters. What the player's done in this particular season is, I think that everybody's delighted, and it'll end the speculation with Real Madrid. You know, they keep coming in, and for whatever reason, that unsettles the player and unsettles the supporters as well. But now that's all settled.
It's such a big boost for the club, but at such an important time as well, isn't it? With the end of the season coming very close.
I think on the back of a fantastic performance this week, reaching the semi-finals of the Champions League, and obviously. Big week for the club tomorrow, the semi-final of the FA Cup. So, you know, all coming together and all positives at the same time. That's what the great thing is.
We know that he's mentioned before that he wanted to stay, but do you think nights like Tuesday night have a big bearing on things like this?
I think it was agreed before then. I think it's been, since the turn of the year, the manager made the announcement. I think he was trying to put off the speculation from Real Madrid and whatever. I think that they've been in negotiations for a while. It has gone on record anyway, but I don't really think that's had any influence. I think that was already agreed, and probably him going out and playing as he did. He has been playing consistently well this year, but going out and playing, and all the players playing like that, you know, that was indicative of his mental state. And at this moment in time, it's fantastic.
Of course, he signed for United in August 2003 for £12 million. At the time, people were wondering whether it was money well spent. Now it looks like a bargain, doesn't it?
I think it was at 12.5 million or something like that. I think with the way that some of the transfer fees are going and the inflated prices that are being paid for ordinary players, you get a, you know, obviously the boy has developed since he's been at the club, and I think that's, you know, when you look at it in real terms and what you've got now, you've got, in my mind, no doubt the best player in the world at this moment in time, but also the fact that he's, you know, he's performed in such a consistent way and he's cost the club. It doesn't really come down to money in the end, because that's between the clubs. The player himself has developed as a player, both physically and they're learning the way that the game is played in England, and he's adjusted to that. And the manager's been, you know, to the forefront of that, because he's made sure that there's been no pressure on him, even after the publicity last year after the World Cup. The manager just dismissed it as being nonsense, and in fact it was.
Frank, great to talk to you as always. Thanks very much for joining us today. And let's go also to the phone now and speak to Alex Stepney. And Alex, good to talk to you as well. Your reaction on the news today, wonderful news for the club. Well, Alex, I don't think we've got Alex on the line yet. We'll get Alex on the line shortly. But everybody's saying the same thing, isn't it? It really adds to the feel-good factor around the club at Old Trafford at the moment.
Yeah, I think even the players he plays with today as well, Patrice Evans did a good article the other day saying that he's one of the greats in that. So I think within the club and the former players, of course, and the fans outside just before came here today, really excited. So it's generated a good atmosphere already after the great result of midweek, the best performance ever. You know, to see this today, it's great. And Ronaldo has made a lot of happy people, and probably a lot of unhappy ones as well, thinking he'll be staying in this country for another extra 5 years. Fantastic. To keep him here as well, I think, you know, was a big plus. I think what Frank said as well is quite right. Speculation was mounting about Real Madrid. You know, stories coming nearly every day, but we just miss them now and we move on.
Shots of United training today, of course. A crucial game ahead this weekend, and a real boost at a very important time. As I said to Frank there, with the game against Watford this weekend, it's so important to get everybody sort of happy and up for the game, and this news must buoy the team as a whole. Yeah,
I fear for Watford, to be truthful. I think, you know, the way we are playing as well after the midweek game, of course, against Roma, but with the news as well, Ronaldo saying, it generates a great atmosphere, and the lads will be lifted. The players that he plays with will be lifted as well, because they know now one of the best players in the world is going to be staying at this club, and they'll be playing with him. Fantastic news.
Okay, well, let's now talk to Alex Stepney, who's on the line. Good afternoon, Alex.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hi there. Very well, thank you. Yes, your reaction to today's news?
Well, I'm over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. It's been going on for quite a while now. A lot of ifs and buts, and, you know, going through with agents and other clubs wanting him, and you know, at the end of the day, United have done the business as they should have done, and you know, it's great for the player himself, because he's been a revelation this season. Well, every season he's been here now, he's improved to the highest, and it can't do the club any harm, can it?
I was going to say, he's scored more and more goals every season he's been here. He's got 20 this season in 44 games. Yes. That's a phenomenal record for somebody in that position, but it's almost a goal every 2 games.
That's absolutely fantastic, Dave, and like, you know, probably Mickey will agree with me. I mean, those 2 goals, his first 2 goals in European football last Tuesday was, you know, something that really uplifted him again, and it pushed him on again, and that's what you have to do when you're a great player like that. You've got to raise the bar again yourself, and you know, he's now got the opportunity to stay at the club for a lot longer and prove to everybody how good he is.
He started the season so well. We're just seeing the picture of the goal against Fulham on the opening day. I suppose that was a sign of things to come, really, wasn't it?
Well, it was, because, I mean, with Wayne there as well, I mean, all the ballyhoo of the World Cup, it basically, everybody was looking, you know, they were very anti against him, and he's turned it around, well,
all over the country really, because no matter who I speak to who are not United supporters, you know, they're all saying, well, what a fantastic player he is.
And it's interesting looking at his record in the FA Cup as well, in particular. 19 games for United and 8 goals. That's very impressive, particularly looking ahead to a semi-final this weekend.
Well, that's right. You see, he's been allowed to express himself throughout this season a lot more, and he is a prolific goal scorer, as we know, but defenders don't know what to do against him. He's playing on the left, he's playing on the right, he's played through the middle, and he's now taking the free kick, so he's basically running the show and also contributing to making goals. I mean, I don't know how many assists he's got this season, but that must be a very high number as well.
He's obviously a wonderful player, been playing so well this season. How much credit has to go to Sir Alex Ferguson on this as well, and his development?
Well, I think if you look back at when he first came to the club, I mean, the actual players, I think Gary Neville and everybody then said to the boss, you must get this player, and because he came, and like I said, every season now he's maturing, and he sort of his game is improving so much to unbelievable standards that he's going on, and it's something that when you look back at the goals for United this season, he's been amongst everyone basically.
Great, thanks for joining us, Alex. Great to talk to you as always. Wonderful to hear the news today and to get such good reaction as well. Let's talk to Lou Macari now, who's on the line as well. Hi there, Lou.
Hi, David.
Hi there. What are your thoughts today on such a good day for United?
Well, it's a great move from the club. I think it's a great move by the manager, David Gill, and everyone connected with the club. And obviously, in my opinion, a great move for the player himself, who's improved greatly in the last 12 months and became, you know, one of the top players in the world now.
You know what it's like to score for United. Ronaldo, he doesn't score normal goals, I suppose, does he? He scores lots of special goals as well. How does it feel to score goals at Old Trafford? And how do you think he feels this season, having scored so many and playing so well?
Well, I think that's the big difference this season, David. Up until this season, everything about his game was fantastic. The only thing that was lacking was, you could say, was goals. Never mind spectacular ones, just goals itself. And he's added that to his game this season, and the goals, most of them have been spectacular, but adding that final piece of the jigsaw to his game, which involves the ability to take people on, the ability to run at defenders, has made him almost a complete player, and he deserves everything he gets because he obviously has worked exceptionally hard to achieve that.
And you mentioned goals there, Lou, but I suppose another thing is that he seems to know when to do the tricks at the right time now as well. The end product is there.
Yeah, and I think that was maybe a criticism last season, that the end product wasn't there. He was taking free kicks, and to be fair, most of them were going high and wide, and other set plays he was involved in, and they weren't really coming off. And certainly the goals weren't coming the way they've come this season. And I've got to say it again, as a young player, he's probably done what all young players should do, is go and work a little bit harder on his game, try and improve his game, and he's managed to do that, and he's reaping the rewards for it now.
And surely as well, this news today comes as a big boost to United, not just this season, but also looking ahead to the future. I suppose if you've got a player in such good form, the important thing is to hang on to him. Oh
yeah, and I think there was a big danger of not hanging on to him. I think teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona, who are looking for talent like Ronaldo, they're struggling a little bit in terms of being a power in European football, in terms of Champions League and that, and they'd be looking to improve their side, and certainly Ronaldo would be a player that, without any doubt, would come into the reckoning. As a matter of fact, I can't think of any other players in football at this moment in time that would catch the attention of another club as much as Cristiano, and you see, he certainly would have been on their wanted list, and unfortunately for Manchester United and all the fans, that David Gill and company have moved quickly and got his signature on the piece of paper.
And I suppose if United do go hunting in the transfer market in the summer, this also adds extra weight to bringing in new players and better players, perhaps.
Yeah, well, I think it helps, David, but, you know, Manchester United is such a club that you don't need much convincing when they knock at your door. If they do knock at your door, you're fortunate enough to be under them, you know, on their hit list, and most players decide, right, yeah, I'm heading for Old Trafford. And I think at this moment in time, and probably for years to come, it's going to be the place to be. Things are looking good this season. Can go for 3 trophies, obviously. Premiership sitting at the top of the league, and the fantastic win against Roma sent out a warning to all clubs left in the Champions League that Manchester United are desperate to win it. And of course the FA Cup, which we're involved in tomorrow night, Watford, and then hopefully a cup final, is another thing, competition capable of winning. And I think the majority of players, whether they be British-based players or players in European football, would like to come to Old Trafford.
And just finally, Lou, we obviously hope United will do well in all the competitions they're left in, but on a personal level, do you think Cristiano will win lots of awards this season?
Oh, I think he's nailed on for the Player of the Year. I think he's nailed on almost certainly for the press vote as well. They have their own award, and I'll be surprised that any other awards that are not there for the taking don't end up in Cristiano's house. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain they will do.
Okay, great to talk to you as ever, Lou. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Cheers, David. Thanks.
Good to hear reaction from all kinds of people today on the news. We always say that he's got a smile on his face. He takes that into games, but he seems to really enjoy training as well. It's something that seems to be quite special for him. He seems to just love having a ball at his feet. We see him training today, and it's no different today.
Oh, great. No, he's a character, a great character as well to have around him. He's very, I think he's getting better in his language speaking. He speaks well now. I think he gets more understanding with his teammates and that. I think that helps as well. And initially when you first come to club, it can be very difficult, especially a young lad coming from abroad. You know, but I just think he's maturing. You know, as each season comes along, we're getting the best out of the best player in the world. And as Lou McCarthy quite rightly said, you know, when Real Madrid or Barcelona come knocking, they normally get the man. But this time they haven't done so.
I suppose that's a very valid point. Patrice Evra has said this season how difficult it can be to adapt to life in a new country. And Cristiano, although he's been here a few years now, has obviously improved and improved as perhaps he's got more comfortable with life here.
Yeah, and I think, you know, must remember that he's only a young guy as well. You know, coming to a foreign country as well, everything new surrounds it and getting used to it. It does take time to adjust. You know, some take a little bit longer. But I just think now he's in the prime now. He's just maturing in the right team, right balance. It could have possibly seen 3 trophies. That's why he's staying at this club, to win trophies. And the other night emphasised that United, I think, are destined to bring trophies to this cabinet this season.
I was down at Carrington yesterday, down there sort of seeing all the players around there, and Cristiano in a great mood, obviously loving life at the moment and loving his football. And I suppose that is vital in the changing room as well as out on the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, because it can have an effect in the dressing room. I've been in the dressing room there. If a player isn't happy and there's big speculation about a player moving on, it can be a distraction. But I think, you know, now it's all ended. I just can't wait for the game coming up tomorrow night against Watford. Of course, we respect him. But Ronaldo, I mean, what he's got here, rapport with the crowd, you know, I think it is special. They know when he gets that ball, you know, people like off the seats, they don't really think he's going to do something special. Even I do commentate, and I'm off my seat as well. I think something special is going to happen here, because you naturally believe it's going to happen, because he usually does it, doesn't he? So it's great to see, and I'm made up that I'll be watching him again for the next 5 years. Brilliant.
Your crowd always love a special player, don't they, as well?
Well, I think so. Someone that can do something different, and he, like Ryan Giggs, etc., Paul Scholes, he's in the same bracket. You know, he can produce a bit of magic, and that's what people pay the money to come to a theatre dream like this, to see something special, and he's the one.
And we see the shots of the training there. We saw Craig Cathcart, one of the United players, training with the first team. And I suppose the more youth team players who get involved with the first team training like that, they can really learn things from a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, albeit only 22 himself.
Oh, it's a big lift for him, a big lift. To train with certain players like this, it's a fantastic experience for a youngster. And to get that opportunity, and I think, you know, the manager does that superbly well, blends him in, you know, not quickly.
Okay, thanks very much, Mickey, for coming in, of course. That's it. Don't forget, Fridays are all about the match here on MUTV. Eric Harrison is the guest on Countdown to Kick-Off, and you'll be able to see the whole of the manager's press conference in full throughout today. But we'll leave you with the news that Cristiano Ronaldo is here until 2012. We'll see you very soon.